Greetings, this is Yasha Ben Israel, aka Terry Whitfield, for the Yasha Ben Israel Terry Whitfield podcast show. Coming at you one more again. We're talking about Brother Garfield and how Garfield openly challenges the Hebrews. And when I come on there, you know what I'm saying? I make all them guys shake. All them guys talk about openly, openly handling the Hebrews, but they can't handle Yasha Ben Israel. We have here Yasha exposing Garfield as he is lying. Okay, he's a liar. He's a big liar. He wants that go out and hire geneticists so he can stand next to them and do the appeal to authority, logical fallacy. He's appealing to this man's authority. But the thing about it is that actually he's appealing to the ignorance of the masses as well, because he's going to play you as if though him and this geneticist see eye to eye, when actually this man is going to lie. Okay, he's going to lie on the information about this geneticist because he's seen talking to him on his show. He's grandstanding and he's clout chasing. You know what I'm saying? He's using this man's clout, to twist up his words to make it as though he has some authority. But listen to this brother. He's going to tell us right here that he is a dummy with genetics when it comes to genetics. Listen carefully. I'm a dummy when it comes to genetics. There we go. He's a dummy when it comes to genetics. He said it with his own mouth. Now let the story begin. Do you feel people migrated from West Africa to the Levant?
Do I feel that people from Africa migrated from West Africa to the Levant? Well, the question assumes that the people, for example, in West Africa have always been in West Africa. And so you have related groups that either dispersed from the Sahara during its desiccation period, or you had groups that dispersed from the Sudan into different areas.
So there's nobody living in West Africa at the time?
It's not an issue. There's nobody living in West Africa.
Stupid question.
The question is, are the people who are living there now the direct descendants of people who live in West Africa?
But according to Razib Kan, a geneticist, he said yes.
No, he did not. No, he did not. And I'm going to show y'all he did not. Hold on for 1 second here.
Well, he's a PhD. I know going by what I just basically
regardless if he's a PhD.
I just basically asked him because.
But that's what you should have asked him. Well, what is the
number two? Are there any genetic papers positing a mass migration of the E1B1A out of the Levant in Western Asia and into West Africa? That's the first part of the question. And the second part is E1B1A indigenous to Western Asia? Yeah. I saw this, like I've seen some of these. These are actually like pretty deep questions in terms of like, I think they will be answered. So there's one issue is tropical areas in general, we have not that much ancient DNA. And then also there's some political reasons. So for example, there's not that much ancient DNA out of Iraq. That's not because it's not dry and it's good. You know what I'm saying? There's not that much ancient DNA out of Iraq because like we messed up Iraq. And like researchers don't want to go into Iraq and get kidnapped or something, right? So there's like political issues going on there. In Africa, like in a lot of tropical Asia, when it's wet and it's humid, DNA degrades, finding it's harder. David Wright's lab, I know they have some stuff that's coming out delayed by COVID. They've gotten stuff out of caves in Cameroon here and there, but we have a lot of data in Europe because it's cold and some parts are more dry, especially the north during the Ice Age. We have not that much data out of West Asia. We've got some, and we have very little out of Africa, tropical Asia, right? And so some of these questions that you're asking, I can't give a really good answer because we don't have enough data. What I will say is there are connections between Africa and West Africa and Eurasia, Southwest Eurasia in particular, Mediterranean, West Asia, that people are just exploring. So initially, people used to think, well, Africa is the homeland of modern humans, and you use them as an outgroup, and you look at Neanderthal admixture and blah blah blah, using Africans as zero, right? Well, it turns out the Yoruba, who are the original African population that geneticists often use from the HapMap and Thousand Genomes, have a little bit of Neanderthal ancestry. Where that come from? I mean, almost certainly that's due to what we call Eurasian back migration. We call it back migration because the original pulse was out of Africa. But some Eurasians, almost certainly from West Eurasia, because you can tell that Africans look a little bit more like West Eurasians than they do, like say Chinese. Okay, so they didn't come all the way from China. They came from where you would expect, probably the Middle East. They went into Africa. Like when did they go into Africa? Some of it we know is relatively recent. So R1b B88, that's in Chad. So that's right. Working on that paper. That's clearly a Holocene. So it's within the last 12,000 years, probably with like pastoralist or something like that. And there's low levels of so the Y chromosome is high frequency, so the paternal lineage is preserved. But overall, they're pretty African. But now they have been able to detect appreciable levels of Eurasian ancestry, and that ancestry is higher in the groups that have more R1b. Okay, so we know that there was recent back migration. We know that for sure. But a lot of researchers think that there was some connections and back migrations pretty deep in the Pleistocene, pretty deep in the Ice Age, say like 15, 20, 30,000 years ago, right? And so when you say, so when you're asking about questions about E1, like haplogroup E in particular, I'm very, very fuzzy and non-committal. There are E's that are found in the Natufians 10,000 years ago, right? So we know that it was in the Near East a long time ago. But we don't have enough data from Africa to say that, so here's a scenario, and this is not necessarily a scenario I believe, but it's a plausible.
See, he said that this stuff has been in Africa for at least 10,000 years ago, and he also said that it was a coming forth, it was a coming and going, and that up until recent times.
Scenario, you could have E1, the ancestor, say in the southern Sahara, it goes north at the end of the Ice Age, and then it diversifies with the agriculturalists, and then it comes back with some agriculturalists. So, like, how do I answer the question in that case, right? Because
He's talking about how it goes back and forth. You just heard that. You see what I'm saying? See, this guy's fucking crazy. He's lying to the public. You people, this geneticist, he paid this guy and wasted his money because the guy's speaking, preaching against his whole fucking thesis. Garfield's a fucking idiot.
like we are positing from Spencer's original work, like geneticists used to think that, oh, you have the stepwise migration out of Africa and you never look back. That's not true at all. Like there's a lot of back migration in Africa. There's a few populations that have been only minimally impacted by Western Eurasian ancestry, but that's really low in terms of numbers. So Hutu pygmies, like Eastern pygmies in the Congo, and then maybe the Hadza, but even like Khoisan, Bushman people in South Africa, they have Cushitic ancestry, and that Cushitic ancestry has West Asian ancestry within it, right? So it's hard to separate these different
Wow.
groups.
Wow, he said even the Cushitic has Southwest Asian ancestry in it.
The Kuwait song.
Wow. It makes you mad when you think about King Hezekiah and King Taharka's alliance. It makes you mad when you see it in the Egyptian bloodline. You see the Levant, Southwest Asian bloodline all throughout the Cometics and the Canaanites and the Israelites and all the people who live throughout the Southwest Asian Levant. Okay,
Babylonians.
so we getting it in, and we getting some things started over here because the brothers is pretty much mad. They mad, they mad. I just sent one video out today, and it just stirred up the whole morning. This is why my screen keep popping. But back at the brothers' conclusion.
Um, and so, like, I mean, you're asking about, like, in the questions, like, you're asking about these haplogroups that are found today in certain areas, and with some of them I can give you a good answer. Most of the ancient DNA is pretty clear and they're recent. But E1B, it seems pretty ancient in West Asia, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not ancient in Africa. Because we don't have the
Wow. Wow.
Stop.
Wow. It's ancient in Southwest Asia. You know, the rate.
Stop. Let's fast forward on here real quick. Modern Jewish populations have a special phylogeographical status within the Levant for several reasons. Even by the Roman era, they were a significant diaspora as attested by Strabo, Philo, Josephus, and Cicero. The diaspora fragmented into branches with distinct and well-studied genetic signatures, such as those of the Sephardim of Africa, and the which I'll prove later, and the Ashkenazi, the European, and incorporated significant levels of male admixture. Current Jewish populations in the Levant derive largely from the complex pattern of resettlement from the multiple sources within the last 50 years and may not represent the pre-diaspora distribution. Jewish genetics may be studied more than those many other groups, and current study therefore seek to focus on a geographical genetic profile throughout the Levant and surrounding regions. Hmm. There you have to cut that.